Good day. I am Francis Ochoa, and today we are going to talk about the implementation plan analysis for Garmin. Let's talk about Garmin. Garmin is a good fit for this analysis. Garmin is globally considered as one of the leading companies in GPS enabled consumer technology. Its products are very known in different markets, such as aviation. They're known for their advanced avionics. Marines are known for their navigational tools. Outdoor, known for their navigation and communication devices. And fitness, known for health tracking and exercise metrics. These markets are very rich in data and are driven by analytics. Their customers rely on their products to record, analyze, and forecast data to prepare for their next trip, next workout, next dive, etc. The environment that Garmin operates in and the markets that they're in are very complex, in which decision analytics and statistical decision making tools are very valuable. This also makes Garmin very suitable for applying statistical and risk based decision making tools. The organization is very well positioned to benefit from forecasting, optimization, risk management, and AI supported analytics. Now, let's look at Garmin's key issues. The first one is the uncertainty of demand for new wearable product launches. Garmin's wearable tech segment regularly introduces new wearable products into competitive markets. Drivers of concern include consumer adoption rates, and product life cycle timing. The biggest uncertainty is the competitive pressure from brands like Coros, Polar, and even Apple, who just entered the market segment when they introduced the Apple Watch and the Apple Watch Ultra series that directly competes with Garmin's wearables, such as their lifestyle line called Venue and their training line called Forerunner. Next is the risk of overproduction or stockouts. This means overproduction may result to excess inventory, which incurs holding costs and eventual markdowns, while underproduction would mean loss in sales and reduced customer satisfaction. According to Hames in 2015, operational risk arises when decisions must be made before uncertainty is resolved. Third is the financial exposure from forecasting errors, which directly affect revenue, realization, profit margins, and capital efficiency. According to Clement, relying on single point forecasts can underestimate the true risk of a decision and may lead to poor outcomes. Lastly, traditional forecasting alone is insufficient. Leaders need to understand the ranges of outcomes and downside risks. This then shows Garmin's need for data driven and risk aware decision to support their decision making. Garmin's access to data such as historical sales volume and product line performance serves as the foundation for forecasting and probabilistic modeling. In addition to these data, Garmin can leverage its devices' usage platforms, upgrade cycles, and ecosystems engagement. By combining both operational and behavioral data, this will give the organization a better picture of where it's at and improve predictive and decision analytics. All models rely on assumptions such as expected market growth, stability in pricing, and competitive conditions. By making these explicit, decision makers understand how results will be generated. Also, it is critical to understand that there will always be limitations. Forecasts are always inherently uncertain. Data does not always fully capture the market and its movement, and models are just simplifications of reality. Now let's talk about statistical decision-making tools and analyses. So statistical decision-making tools provide the analytical foundation for evaluating operational uncertainty and supporting informed decisions. Forecasting is the starting point for operational decisions, which uses historical sales and trend data and produces baseline expectations for demand. However, forecasts alone provide point estimates, which do not fully capture uncertainty. Sensitivity analysis builds on forecasting since it tests how outcomes change when one variable is adjusted. It identifies it identifies which assumptions must influence results and was used in early ADM work to explore demand drivers. Sensitivity analysis helps prioritize risk factors but does not model interaction effects. Probabilistic modeling further advances the analysis by assigning probability distributions to uncertain inputs, enabling explicit representation of variability. And according to Luco, such statistical methods are well suited for complex operational environments. Together, these tools form a data-driven decision support framework that prepares the organization for optimization and risk modeling. Now let's talk about the optimization and decision analysis model. The decision analysis model focuses on optimizing operational decisions by balancing expected financial returns with exposure to operational risk. However, for Garmin, optimization is not just about maximizing revenues alone. The organization needs to balance expected revenue and margins and exposure to downside risks such as excess inventory and lost sales. This, in accordance with Hames, who emphasizes that decision models must reflect trade-offs and not just single objectives. Decision variables are the levers of management control, such as the number of units to produce and how inventory is allocated across regions or channels. These choices directly influence risk and return. Furthermore, constraints such as cost, capacity, and demand forecasts need to be addressed. This model allows leaders to compare conservative versus aggressive production plans, risk tolerant versus risk averse strategies. This structured comparison improves decision quality and consistency. Let's talk about the risk assessment. First step is identifying where uncertainty enters the system. For Garmin, key drivers include demand variability for new wearable launches, pricing and promotional responses, and production and supply chain cost fluctuations. Hames emphasizes that effective risk assessment begins with identifying both the sources and interaction of uncertainty. These uncertainties were modeled using Monte Carlo simulations by assigning probability distributions to critical inputs and running thousands of simulations to generate outcome distributions. According to Luco, Monte Carlo simulation is a statistical risk assessment technique well suited for complex operational environments. The outputs look like ranges of possible revenue and costs, probability of missing demand targets, and likelihood of worst case financial outcomes. These results are integrated into decision selection through comparison of alternative production strategies and risk tolerance thresholds. This transforms risk analysis into actionable decision intelligence, not just analysis. Now, what are the ethical considerations, especially using AI? Ethical considerations are critical when integrating AI into operational decision making. For Garmin, AI-driven analytics can enhance forecasting and risk assessment. It can also reveal insights that humans may overlook. However, it is critical to set the program to only provide data and not autonomously make final operational decisions. Human oversight within the decision loop is still needed to ensure ethical decision making since the organization uses sensitive and private data from its customers. Relying too much on AI and neglecting privacy regulations and proper security may result in loss of trust. It is also important to ensure that the AI models used do not reflect historical biases, since this can make their output obscure and provide inaccurate data. The bottom line is that leaders must remain accountable for their organization's decisions, use these models only to inform and ensure that AI models align with organizational values. Now, recommendations to resolve the issue. Garmin should move beyond single point demand forecasts and towards a decision informed by outcome distributions and explicit consideration of downside risk. This improves resilience and decision quality under uncertainty. Product launch approval should include probability changes, confidence intervals, and worst case scenarios. This aligns consecutive decisions with risk tolerance and not just expected value. Using Monte Carlo simulation outputs allows leadership to evaluate the full range of potential outcomes and align decisions with organizational risk tolerance. Integrating these results into executive decision reviews improves transparency and consistency across product launch decisions. According to Hames, embedding risk analysis into operational planning enhances resilience under uncertainty. Additionally, decision intelligence framework emphasizes the importance of continuously updating analytical models as new data becomes available, ensuring decisions remain adaptive and evidence-based. Financial outlook. The financial outlook reflects a shift from single point financial projections to a risk-adjusted view of performance. By evaluating expected revenue alongside downside and upside scenarios, Garmin can better understand revenue at risk and potential cost exposure. Overproduction introduces inventory and margin tasks, while underproduction leads to missed revenue opportunities. With Monte Carlo, its outputs allow leadership to see best case financial outcomes, most likely outcomes, and worst case downside exposure. Using such scenario-based evaluation supports better financial decisions under uncertainty. Explicitly incorporating uncertainty into financial planning improves capital allocation and decision quality. Optimization and scenario-based evaluation further support margin protection and more resilient financial performance. Uncertainty is unavoidable in operational decisions. For Garmin, uncertainty is inherent in new product launches, consumer demand, competitive response. Ignoring uncertainty does not eliminate risk, it just increases it. Statistical and risk-based tools improve decision quality, which reinforces that forecasting, sensitivity analysis, and simulation, they also convert uncertainty into measurable risk, and it enables leaders to understand ranges, not guesses. In conclusion, by integrating forecasting, optimization, and Monte Carlo simulation, leadership can evaluate trade-offs, understand downside risk, and align decisions with organizational risk. According to Hames, risk-informed decision-making improves transparency and resilience in complex systems. Decision intelligence frameworks further emphasizes the importance of combining analytics with human judgment to support consistent and defensible executive